We saw this strategy in all the way from the first game, and it didn't work out the way that they planned. I mean, this was the exact same matchup, right? Uranus and Phoveus in that EXP lane. We saw the Phoveus in the early stage being heavily pressured, but of course the pilots are different now. It definitely could be a skill matchup that they can utilize. We'll see how this goes as the predictions. Very interesting.
Oh, this is going to be really hard for Dewa. I feel like AP Bren might have just outdrafted Dewa already. Remember, it's not just the Nolan, it's the one as well.
Oh, you're right.
It's very, both these heroes reliant on dashes.
Smash them.
And with that, ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome you to match number 3, game number 1 in this best of 1 series between the Indonesian rep Dewa United and the Filipino rep AP Bren. With both of these teams being able to secure their wins today, one of their win streaks will break. We'll see who comes out on top in Group A.
Wow. Early on already. Now it's going to be Ogwen who walks up into the enemy jungle, just trying to provide some utility, but yeah, it's also a Guinevere roam that's actually used up by Shaco here. Not the jungle that we usually see, so maybe that win rate can turn. Yeah, another plot twist here in the drafts for Dewa United as well. They're basically saying you're not the only ones who can do it, but this Guinevere in the roam. Last time we saw it, I believe it was Godiva actually, who used the Guinevere as a roamer. But back then, you need that passive to still get the spatial migration knockup. This time, just with the spatial migration alone, you will be able to get a knockup. So, a more instant source of initiation for the Guinevere this time around.
But I think, oh, wait a minute, Lanaya getting very aggressive, and that's going to be first blood falling to the hands of Lanaya. Already a 1-0-0 for the Dewa United jungler with that first takeaway in the first minute. But back to that point, with so much purifies from the side of AP Bren, how effective can this Guinevere roam actually be?
I think if it can bait out all the purifies, it's still going to be effective, right? That Requiem lasts for quite a long time. And hey, for Shaco, he has a lot of survivability. He jumps in, he can also just jump back out. What AP Bren needs to be careful of is the early game snowball potential. Spatial migration connecting for Shaco onto Ogwen, just to try to out-damage him, out-trade him, but Ogwen gets a lot of HP back with the Vengeance reset in this trade. He's got to be careful though. Now chased down by 3. A flicker, but all the way just to the pit. He gets a stun down with the Vengeance as well, with the spatial migration. And the help of Kaze gets the kill back. It's 2 kills. Traded in by AP Bren though. They're able to find a turtle for free.
Okay, so already a very different idea that we're seeing here coming in from Dewa United. They're looking to pressure AP Bren from the early stage of the game, realizing that most of the heroes that they have opted for do require a little bit more time to progress into towards the items, mainly the gold lane and of course Farsa.
Looking at the emblems, nothing too crazy, right? The only thing I want to see or point out is the fact that Shaco has gone for the Brave Smite. Tank emblem into that Brave Smite with the power, with the Wilderness Blessing actually, to rotate across the map a bit faster. How effective it is still something that I'm questioning. Still something that I want to see here. Because so far, despite the 2 kills that they have, the fact that AP Bren are still equal in gold shows you that it's going to be quite a problem for Dewa United once it comes to the mid game. That level 4 power spike for the Phoveus, it's going to hit.
It truly is. Shaco opening up the map, giving some information to his team. But it looks like, oh, he's going very aggressive.
Even the final slash with the Violet Requiem there saves Shaco for a bit. Caltizi gets a good taunt up onto Lanaya. Appraiser's Wrath even committed down in the enemy jungle. But both teams will decide to just take it slow, just like you guys can on Omni. Go and watch the documentary, mini documentary on EVOS' brand ambassador Una and Bigetron's player Vin. More of a fight. Shaco taunted up. Oh, final slash dodged away from Shaco. Spatial migration into the front, trying to find a cheeky little pick off, but will not find it. But it does give Watts a bit more time to get that weakness point.
Ooh, that was a little close for comfort though. I thought, all right, cool, Shaco got out. Wasn't able to be taken down by AP Bren, but then he dashes way back in. Luckily, it didn't amount to much from the side of AP Bren, but it does give them enough space to perhaps set up for this turtle first. Let's see, Lanaya is level 8. From the side of AP Bren. Oh, Shaco goes in.
And it's a Requiem to combo it together to fracture as well. Oakwood taking low, but he's still able to survive. A final slash as well to bring Dixon and Shaco to the right side of the map. And now even a demonic force committed in by Flapteezy to zone the rest of Dewa United away for AP Bren, the rest of them, to pick up a free turtle.
Well played by the Filipino reps AP Bren. They realized that Kaltizi was actually a level below of Lanaya at that point. They forced a fight, was able to get an advantage, burn out the resources coming in from Dewa United, and were able to get a bigger say in terms of that turtle. But here we are. Gwen. Man, Arlet Rome is kind of gross.
It's back to its oppressive state. The adjustment to the base stats, right? That was really what kind of stopped Arlet from becoming a roamer anymore, because you have to build damage on this hero to actually deal damage. Now for the healing, the sustain, and the damage, with those base stats already being buffed out, he can just go in without a care in the world with tank items. Even with the quantum charge. That's a quantum charge on the Arlet. And now it's going to be a siege down below. Ogwin marching forward again in the bottom lane. Why going to be changed? You see the final slash brings them back. It is a free hit from Super Marco. A desperate Requiem for the side of Shaco trying to evade, but Ogwin still gets out. It's only 2 members taken out for free. AP Bren dominating the bottom lane team fight.
They're so patient. They're coming back with Dewa United leading in that early game. They've turned it completely around. AP Bren 6 minutes in, already a 2k gold lead, and they've taken all the kills for themselves as well, turning it back, taking all the turrets from Dewa United one by one as they look to invade. Even the buffs coming in from Dewa United. Shaco goes in.
Go for the orange buff. Steal Kaltizi, Appraiser's Wrath. The crossbow tang is ready, but look at the zoning from Super Marco. He's walking up forward and dishing out damage to provide the cover that the team needs. And even up top, this lane that should be an oppressive one against the Phobius. We saw this same matchup earlier in match number 1, Mielo versus Flapteezy. Flapteezy was on the Uranus, and Flapteezy was able to bully the Phobius. Not the same outcome this time.
No, it's a completely different story. When with Flapteezy being able to win that lane, he is going to have a little bit more say in terms of this next neutral objective, where AP Bren have actually already baited it towards their side. Kaltizi and Lanaya. This might just be a free turtle here for AP Bren.
Dewa have no way to get into this turtle pit unless Lanaya just dashes in, but now gets caught in the demonic force, chased down all the way. The more you dash, the more damage Flapteezy does. And Ogwin picks up the kill. At this point, even when the Arlet gets the kill, does it really matter that much? Eternal Ogwin got 3 kills in the first game. Now he's on 3 kills again.
How? He's a roamer.
He's a killer roamer.
He's a killer roamer. That's what we're getting here in this match. But Dewa United, they found a little bit of compensation, right? They were able to get a little bit more pressure in the bottom lane, but look at this.
Final slash, Kaze and Lanaya locked down. It's another round though. Granted him enough HP, and that's the crossbow of Tank from 1 to shift it over. A good shutdown picked up with the Appraiser's Wrath, connects onto 2. Kaltizi dashing out to safety. Dixon still running him down. But Dewa wants to secure this purple buff. Can they? Kaltizi just retries it, gets a taunt in, and gets out.
He doesn't have it. He doesn't get it.
Nope. It's just a retreat clean from Kyle.
Man, Lanaya. All his resources are being kept away from him by AP Bren, and to make it all worse, Super Marco will be able to secure a tower in that top side, propelling him even further in this game, with him already quite far ahead. Where is he at? Super Marco, 103 KDA so far. Not even a single time taken down.
He's playing it chill because, again, in this matchup, it's already a pretty good matchup for the Bruno against the Wanwan. Especially when you're just trading, when you're just farming. The Wanwan is actually going to be the one losing out on, in a lot of these trades slowly.
Why is that? Is it the poke coming in from Bruno?
It's the damage and obviously also the dash. The dash that gets him to safety whenever the 1-1 tries to get an all-in. The only way 1-1 wins is if he gets the weakness point all around and get a crossbow tang in to win that trade. It's an all-in, not a trade. But against Bruno, it's almost impossible. As long as Super Marco times that dash properly, according to the first skill of 1-1, there's a very, very low chance of 1-1 actually hitting.
And Watt is caught in a disadvantage, and there you go. The Lord already just blitzed in by AP Bren, by the bees. And that's going to be a free one over to the Filipino representatives.
They're having a field day in the 9th minute of the game with the Lord spawning up top. It's a big question mark as to why Dewa United did not ban the Phobius in the second phase. And why is that, Eternal? Maybe they thought the same, right? They thought, Arlet, no way it's going to be flexed into the roam position. And then meanwhile, Ogwen says, hold my bottle.
I mean, that definitely is a possibility. Meanwhile, Lanaya, though, he's angry.
Fracture, some damage, but that's some good damage back as well. Lanaya might be picked off. It's a 1-for-1. It's not worth it for Dewa. And Ogwen picks up the 4th kill in this game. The killer. He has almost all of the kills that AP Bren has this game. And he's a tank. He's a roamer.
He knows he's a roamer, right?
But he also knows he's Arlet. He's vengeance.
He's vengeance.
Been destroyed.
The towers are going to be falling one by one here as all 3 lanes are going to be pushing. Ogwen being able to control that bottom side. Shackle!
It's a Requiem, but Super Marco just gets out with the Purify, and it's Dewa who actually have to commit a Netherrealm, a big resource. They're trying to siege down the base turret. Dewa United doing a good job at still keeping it intact, but it's lost so much HP, and the next push should certainly be 1 base turret down.
Back foot. They're United. They're definitely on the back foot right now. 6K gold lead and counting. The entire map, ladies and gentlemen, as you see it here, is red. AP Bren, they're controlling every single lane, every single interaction that both of these teams are going to be experiencing. And all they need to do now is just buy time, get as many resources away, aka the buffs, which they already have, and take down the Lord, or even utilize it to bait Dewa United at this point.
And I always say this when I'm talking about AP Bren, whether if it's I'm casting or if I'm streaming, but when AP Bren gets a lead in the early game, no matter how small that lead is, they're probably one of the best teams at utilizing that gold lead to build into a death ball. If you give AP Bren a 3,000 gold lead in the mid game, it's almost over most of the times. It's very rare that they actually throw this lead. And for Dewa, especially considering the composition that they have right now, countered heavily by the Phobius, that chance gets even smaller.
Flashbacks.
To what?
Echo Express.
Echo Express.
Flashbacks.
See, the way AP Bren do it though, they're very calm about it. They don't go for fights. The way Echo does it is, we fight. They fight. They also drive sometimes. They drive the game.
And it looks like, oh, what?
That's what happens when you try to engage on them. The Phobias, the more you dash, the more damage Flap does. Dixon brought back in one last shot. Super Marco picks up a double. You try to find AP Bren with a gold lead, and it will not go your way.
Did you see that?
Yeah.
He's disappeared.
Luckily, he's on a fair miss. He can get back to full and respawn in, but with Caltizi walking up on this Fredrin like an absolute Chad, it's Lanaya who gets sniped down with a feathered airstrike all the way from the orange buff. Super Marco free hitting now, going on to K's, and that's another health bar completely disintegrated. What follows next? It's a desperate spatial migration to the back, and the base will be